You have to be your biggest advocate and you have to push yourself to do the things that are not always easy. Welcome to the Game of Her Own podcast, a free resource for women who work in the sports and entertainment industry. Each week, we get real and talk about the things that hold us back and how we can overcome them and keep climbing to the top. And the top is however you define it. We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Consider this podcast your secret weapon. You will learn from the best in the business and be able to take immediate action with all the advice that you hear. I'm your host, Jahaan Blake, a leadership development coach and consultant. I've worked in sports for 20 years. 15 of those years were spent working for the Red Sox, Dodgers, and the Cubs. After 15 years of working in the front office, I took a leap of faith and I started my own business. Friends, as a Black woman in sports, I know that the industry can take a toll on your confidence and sometimes leave you feeling defeated. Join me each week so I can support you on your journey. I promise you, each week you will feel stronger and more confident than the week before. So let's get started with this week's episode. Do you ever feel like you can't get out of your own way? It's crazy when you think about it. You see this opportunity, you're ready to seize it, and then something happens. Something like you start to doubt your capabilities. You think about all the things that can go wrong. And as a result, you become paralyzed and you don't take any action. Sometimes we choose whining and complaining to our friends over taking action. Another one is you set unrealistic goals. And when you can't reach all of them, you label yourself as a failure because you have this all or nothing type of attitude and you don't recognize the progress that you've made. Do any of those sound familiar to you? Here are a few more that might make you perk up and think, hey, that's me. I do get in my own way. You spend so much time stressing over making a decision that you don't make one at all. You believe that your success will be linear, and when it's not, here's that word again, you feel like a failure. A linear success path is nothing more than an illusion. Now, if you are multitasking, come back to me. I need you to come back to me. I want you to hear this. A linear success path is an illusion. Period. End of sentence. In our time together today, I want to talk about 3 ways to get out of your own way. Because listen, you know this. Nobody's got time for that. As women in a male-dominated industry, we have enough external challenges to face. So I want to use the next 10 minutes or so to give you 3 easy tips on how to get out of your own way. You can implement them as soon as you are done with this episode. And my recommendation is do 1 at a time. Do 1, get really good at it. Do the second one, get really good at it. And do the third one, get really good at it, right? Don't try to do it all at once. Maybe you're already doing one and you want to add 2 more to your portfolio, whatever you need to do. But make sure you take action. All right, Game of Her Own listeners, let's do this. Number 1 tip when it comes to getting out of your own way, take the first step. And once you take it, keep going. Do not stop. Do not look back. You know how you put off starting a project or completing a task that's on your to-do list? And once you finally push yourself to do it, you realize, shit, it wasn't that bad. I don't know why I wasted so much energy worrying about getting it done. Taking this first step is similar. Once you start working on it, whatever project, innovation strategy, once you take that first step and keep going, momentum's going to help you. You're going to realize, okay, this isn't bad. Like I'm doing it. It's like riding a bike. You're doing it and you're so excited. I'm not saying the project will be perfect. I'm not saying you're not going to hit any bumps along the road. And that's okay when you do. But what I want you to remember is keep going. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let self-doubt stop you. Don't let someone who just told you you're wasting your time. Don't let that joke of a person stop you. Keep moving forward. Because if you do, if you let those other factors slow you down, you will be filled with regret. And let me tell you this, regret is going to be more difficult to handle than hitting a few bumps in the road. I've been there before. My clients have been there before where we just keep going. And your mindset sometimes just tries to hold you back. We're all going to hit a few bumps in the road along the way. But what matters the most is How strong is your mindset to manage it? You don't want our mindset, gosh, it does it all the time, right? It says, oh, I'm too young to be in this position. I don't have enough experience to do what I'm doing. No one wants to hear what I have to say. Who am I to lead a team? There's just all these things that start popping into our head that make us feel not good enough. And sometimes we have to hear those things and then just kind of put them on paper and then just look at them and say, what? Or say them out loud to a mentor or say it out loud to a therapist, whatever you need to do, make sure you manage your mindset. I have a workbook that you can download totally for free. Just scroll down in the show notes, managing your mindset, and it walks you through how to put away your fears and go after and do and say exactly what you want. Number 2, it's sort of a natural transition from the first one. Hold yourself accountable. Nobody else, just you. You have to commit to yourself. If you don't, please let me know. Who else would do it? You have to be your biggest advocate and you have to push yourself to do the things that are not always easy. If you are a perfectionist, you will have trouble with this one. Let me let you in on a little secret. If you are multitasking, I need you to come back to me. Listen closely. Perfectionism is a trap. It is not attainable. The best way to look at this is what Winston Churchill said. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. We need to make progress. We need to get out of our own way. Let go of your perfectionism. Now, a first step in self-accountability is simply writing down your goals. Whatever you are working on, whatever project you have in front of you, write down your goals, assign metrics and deadlines. Last but not least, do weekly self-accountability checks. When you do that, check things like, did I hit my milestones this week? Am I tracking towards hitting my deadlines? What's working? What's not working? Make sure you also take a step back. Once you have 3 or 4 weeks worth of data, take a step back and look at the progress you're making. You're making progress, and those are wins, and that's something to be celebrated. And that momentum will keep you going into future weeks. If you're not sure where to track all this, where to put it, how to capture it all, I have what I call a monthly goals scorecard. I and my clients love this because it's an easy place to put what you're working on, put your goals, give yourself a score, red, green, or yellow. And then you could talk about what worked well this month. And then underneath that, you can say, what can I improve on next month? So it helps you stay accountable. Now, if you're going to do this every week, all you have to do is say what worked well, just cross out month and write week. However you try to hold yourself accountable, doesn't matter if it's in months or doesn't matter if it's in weeks. The point is that you do it and that you are consistent and that you make a commitment to yourself. You hold yourself accountable. Okay, so for number 1, we had take the first step. Number 2 is hold yourself accountable. These are things that you can do. These are things you can, as soon as you're done with this episode, start working on. The third one of my favorites, is prioritize yourself. Put yourself first. Now, do you ever have an amazing day at work and look back and think, man, I need to create that? You have to think about, what did you do that day? What did you do that morning? Perhaps, what did you do the night before? Now, I know that I figured it out later in life. I did not realize how much working out had an impact on my day. So I have my favorite place that I go to, Barcode, and there's a class called Bar Brawl or just Brawl, and it's a kickboxing class. And I realized when I didn't take that class, I didn't manage my emotions very well. I was let's just say I was bitchy. And when it came to dealing with things like beyond just like the normal fundamental things of work, like hello, goodbye, whatever, those are easy things, right? Seeing someone in the lunchroom, what do you have to eat, and making that small talk, fine. That was easy. It was dealing with internal politics, having a heated debate with a colleague or a manager. Those things were really hard for me to do when I didn't have a workout that morning. What I learned was, man, I was so much better, and it carried over. So I would work out at 6 or 6:30 a.m. and it would set me off into a great place. Now, I'm not saying that is how you're going to prioritize yourself. I want to give you my example. I made sure that I got up because I knew that I was the best version of myself. I had the best days ever when I would do some sort of workout in the morning. So what are the things you can do to prioritize yourself? What makes you the best version of you? It could be self-care. I guess, you consider working out self-care. I do think that gets overused and commercialized, but I want to say prioritize yourself because that there is no confusion about prioritizing yourself. So for you, it might be, I have the best days when I stick to my boundaries. So I have the best days when I'm home in time to put my children to bed, or I'm in home in time to feed my children, put them in their jammies, read them a book, and put them to bed, right? So I want you to finish this sentence. I have the best day at work when. What is that? Think about what that is and how do you prioritize that? How do you protect that and make sure you always can do that? Always, I get it, is a stretch. There were days that I couldn't work out and we had an early meetings, or I was just tired, or we had a game the night before that went into double extra innings during a rain delay. And I couldn't work out in the morning because I was beat and I had to be back at work. So I get it that you can't do it every single time, but I could say with certainty, I prioritize myself. It was something that was very important to me. So make sure you figure out what you can do to prioritize yourself on a consistent basis. Okay, my friends, I said I was going to give you 3 and I gave you 3, but I think I need to give you a bonus. So let me just go over the first 3. Number 1, take the first step. Once you take that step, keep going, don't look back. Number 2, that's that natural transition from number 1. You started, you took the first step, now hold yourself accountable. Both of those have resources to help you. Just scroll in the show notes and you can download those for free. Number 3 is prioritize yourself. That is the most important thing, is understanding what makes you have a great day at work. And the bonus, this one's very, very important. Remove the people who drain you. Bonus tip, remove the people who drain you. Those are the people who are going to make you continue to get in your own way. They are going to influence you so you get in your own way. You want to remove these people from your lives. You know who they are. They have a way just to say things to you that seem like they care, that seem like they're so concerned, and they seem to pull you back as you go forward. And you don't realize it right in the moment, but you do later when you look back at it. There are people who will vent to you about how much work sucks and take no action and say they can't take action. So their words kind of make you feel defeated. Who are those people in your life? I want you to think about that, who drain you. I want you to replace those people with ones that have similar goals to yours. They don't have to be women in sports. They can be. That's fantastic. But they should be people who are in your circle, who are similar to you, who are ambitious just like you, who have similar styles or define success like you. Some women, I want to get in there. I want to be a manager, and I don't want the responsibility of an executive. I love it. You know what you want. Go get it. Some of you, I want to be an executive. Some of you, I want to be a C in the C-suite. However you define success is great. It only matters to you and what makes you happy. Surround yourself with people who are like that as well. Remove the people who slowly bring you down. They know what they're doing and they do it nice and slow. Misery loves company, and we do not have time for that. All right, my friends, I gave you 3 tips on how to make sure you do not get in your own way. I hope that these are helpful for you. I hope that you have fun trying to implement them and hold yourself accountable and move forward. And as always, I want to hear from you. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know what works for you. You can connect with me at Jahaan Blake on both LinkedIn and on Instagram. Until next week, my friends.